What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Nike Tiempo Ligera 4. This is the second takedown model in the new Tiempo lineup with a retail price of $75 US, replacing, of course, the Genios from the previous generation. With any shoe in the $70 to $90 price range, you have to consider two main things, because these are the two things that can be really good or really bad, and that is the quality of the materials and the quality of the fit. And I'm happy to say that the Tiempo Ligera 4 is well above average in these two categories at this particular price point. Take a leather upper, shape it like a foot, it's generally going to be a pretty good shoe. That is the recipe for the Ligera 4, and the quality you actually get for the leather on this upper at this particular price point is remarkably good. We're gonna go over all the details of the Ligera 4, how they compare to the higher end Tiempos, and of course how they fit and feel on feet as well. So if you wanna learn more, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $75 retail price. The quality of the leather on the Ligera 4 is pretty impressive. I'm being completely honest in saying that I think if they put this leather upper on a higher end model, people would not complain. It really is that good. Now, unlike the Legacy and the Legend above it, this is not kangaroo leather, it's a calfskin leather instead. So it's not quite as soft to the touch. It's a little bit thicker in general, but that is just a minor difference. Does it actually lead to better performance, kangaroo leather over calfskin? No, not necessarily. The kangaroo leather is just a little bit thinner, a little bit less bulky, and you could argue offers a little bit of a better feel, but this is still excellent. The softness is great out of the box. It's a huge quality improvement in comparison to the model this replaces, the Genio, which I thought was a pretty good quality shoe as it was at 75 bucks, but this just far surpasses that. And again, you are really getting your money's worth. I would say far more than your money's worth with the quality of the leather on this particular shoe. It's soft out of the box, and of course it's a leather material, so as you wear them in, they soften up further, they stretch and form to the shape of your foot, and if you're just after that quality natural leather sensation, you're going to get that from the Ligera 4 at an extremely low price point, which is awesome. The amount of leather you get here is the same as the higher end models. The seam runs from here on the lateral side all the way through the midfoot, forefoot toe box area, and then cuts off at this point here on the medial side of the shoe. You also notice that the upper does not have any stitching, but it does have this interesting texturing. The texturing comes from the backing material to the leather, which is the internal skeleton support frame you'll find throughout the entire Tiempo lineup. That skeleton support frame replaces stitching, adding structure to the upper without taking away from the softness of the leather material. So it makes for a much more responsive sensation than you perhaps would expect from a leather shoe in general, but again, it does not take away from the softness and natural feel that you would expect. It also doesn't necessarily restrict the upper from stretching. They'll still form to the exact shape of your foot and give you that traditional leather fit and feel that you would expect. The rear third of the shoe is admittedly a cheaper synthetic than what you'll find on the higher end models, which feature mesh-based synthetics and of course the Flyknit on the top end Legend, but it's in a part of the foot that's rarely going to see contact with the ball, so it really doesn't have an impact on touch, feel, general comfort, and really the overall performance of the shoe. No, not really. It just looks a little bit cheaper, but again, it's expected. They're only 75 bucks. Another feature that makes its way all the way down to the Ligera 4, something very similar that we see on the Felon 3 from the Hypervenom line, is a cable system. Basically, it's like Flywire, but it's technically not Flywire. It's listed as webbed cables on Nike's website, but essentially it's a nylon cable that attaches to the lacing system, the top two lace holes on either side of the shoe, and from those lace holes, basically these strands run all the way through on a diagonal, similar with the texturing that you see, into the base of the sole. So when you pull the laces tight, it really adds structure to the midfoot without adding any bulk or weight to the shoe, or at least very little bulk and weight. And it also helps with heel lockdown. Very effective technology. And again, something that's kind of surprising to get at the $75 price point. The lacing system remains central like you'll find across the entire Tiempo line. It also features a standard tongue as opposed to a knitted material like you'll find on the Legend. So in that regard, it is more similar to the Legacy. The tongue itself is an admittedly cheaper synthetic material, kind of expected at this price point, and really I think this is the cheapest part of the entire shoe. And then on either side of the tongue, there's little elasticated straps that help to hold it in the middle of the foot, so when you're playing in the shoes, the tongue doesn't slide over to one side, which can be really annoying. So Not my favorite aspect of the shoe, but it does get the job done, and honestly, it's not super noticeable when you're actually wearing them. The boot features a standard low cut like you'll find across the entire Tiempo line, an internal plastic heel counter, no surprises there. The heel liner, it's a padded mesh material as opposed to being a smooth synthetic leather, like you'll find from a lot of models at this price point from Nike, so I was kind of surprised about that. But I really don't have any major issues with this in regards to comfort or lockdown. It's just kind of a cheaper thing that I would rather not see on the shoe, but they included it for whatever reason. And then internally, you have a fully glued in insole. You can remove it if you really, really want to. So non-removable insole, but again, kind of expected below the $80 price point, which these fall into. Is it bad in terms of comfort or performance? No. It's just something that's part of the shoe. The sole plate looks a lot like what you'll find on the Legacy 3, slight differences of course, but really the main thing here is that it is made from a different type of plastic that's admittedly a little bit softer and a little bit thinner as well, which means the flexibility I would say is slightly better out of the box in this shoe than what you'll find on the higher end models, which is fine, but once broken in, there's not gonna be a huge difference in terms of what you're gonna be able to feel underneath your feet. The big difference here is that because of the different plastic, the weight does go up a little bit, which we'll talk about in just a second. The stud pattern is the same as the rest of the Tiempo lineup. None of that changes. So you get the new Tiempo layout with the 6 conical studs in the forefoot, the chevron blade in the middle, and then the chevron style studs at the tip of the toe that just add a little bit of extra aggression that we didn't get from previous generation Tiempos. And then of course the bladed studs in the heel with the standard blades and the chevron ones at the back. Overall, it's very similar performance-wise to what you got from previous generation Tiempos, just with that little bit of extra bite, especially when you are on the tips of your toes, accelerating for a sprint or making a quick change of direction. Overall, I very much like it. And again, it's kind of a nice twist on a classic stud pattern that we've had from Nike for years. In terms of weight, the Ligera 4 in a size 9.5 US weighs in at 8.1 ounces, which is about a full ounce more than what you'll get from the Legend 7 and Legacy 3, the models above it, which of course retail for significantly more. Those weigh in at around 7 ounces. Is the little bit of extra weight noticeable? I would say yes, both in hand as well as on feet, but even at 8.1 ounces, this is still a very light shoe for this style of boot in general. Lighter, if we remember correctly, than what we got from the previous generation Nike Tiempo Legend 6, which of course was a $210 shoe. So at 8.1 ounces, given the quality of the leather you're getting for 75 bucks, I think this is a pretty fair deal. Aesthetically, these don't look cheap at all to me. I think this entire Tiempo line from high end to low end, they all look pretty similar. It's not until you're really close that you notice, okay, this isn't Flyknit, it's a little bit different. But even what they've given us here, while it feels different than Flyknit, it really doesn't look cheap in my opinion. The leather looks very premium and the sole plate doesn't look cheap either. Some takedown models at this price point, one that comes to mind would be the X17.3. To me, I see that and I'm like, wow, that just looks like a really cheap shoe. I don't get that impression with this particular model, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you like the look of the Ligera 4? Let me know yes or no. So as you can see, I swapped out the stock black laces for some metallic gold reflective SR4U replacement laces. I thought they accented really nicely with the gold outline you have on the Nike swoosh. Kind of a subtle detail, but it really does pop when you have the gold laces. Anyways, if you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the Ligera 4 feels really good. I think what's surprising with this model is how similar they feel to the top-end Legend and even the Legacy 3. Those two shoes feel very similar. These also feel very similar, which is weird because normally the lower-end models feel drastically different either because of a change in materials or even a change of shape when compared to the top-end boot, but that is not the case here with the Ligera. The leather is soft, the shape of the shoe is very similar across the entire Tiempo line, which is great. The general fit out of the box is extremely comfortable. This is not a shoe that's gonna give you a hard time during the break-in process at all. Lockdown is good. You get nice structure through the midfoot with those cables that are attached through the lacing system. The heel liner being mesh, I don't love, but it doesn't seem to be uncomfortable in any way, and heel slippage doesn't seem to be an issue. And again, overall, I'm just really happy with how these feel out of the box. As far as width is concerned, it's a leather shoe, so of course they are gonna stretch a little bit, and because of that, I think they're gonna be suitable for just about anybody, even if you do have wider feet. So give them some time during the break-in process, and you should be able to achieve a very comfortable fit as they form to the shape of your feet. And of course, in terms of sizing, it's the same as the rest of the Tiempo line, but a half size small. So instead of wearing my usual size 9 US, I'll bump it up to a 9.5, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up, or if you're coming from the previous generation of Tiempos, whatever model it is, sizing remains the same. So would I recommend the Tiempo Ligera 4? The simple answer is 100% yes, I would. You cannot go wrong with this particular shoe. The quality that you get far exceeds the $75 asking price for this particular boot. I think this is a great option if you're on a budget and you just want a good quality shoe, especially if you're into the feel of leather. The quality of this leather upper, like I said, is excellent. Far better than anything at this particular price point, and better quality than a lot of shoes above this particular price point, if I'm being 100% honest. Or if you're somebody that's just curious about the new generation of Tiempos or curious to try a leather shoe for the first time, this is a really good option as well, because they're obviously fairly inexpensive. With the $75 retail price, you can get these for $50, $60 once newer colorways start coming out and they mark down the older ones. So it's just a really good option in general, especially if you want something with a leather upper. The quality is fantastic, simply put. Anyways, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, again, you can click the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $75 retail price. If you have any questions regarding this shoe, as always, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.